Welcome back. You're listening to the Cindy Laverty Show on CRN Digital Talk Radio. We're talking today with Carrie Tepedino about health, wellness going into 2012 with a new and improved attitude about the importance of really having a healthy body. I would encourage you to go to Carrie's site, which is Kerry, Kerry, Tepedino, TEPEDINO.com, and get her weekly newsletter, read her blog posts. She's just full of energy and excitement, and suddenly eating healthy takes on a whole new look when you're partnering with Carrie. So Carrie, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
It's great to have you. Okay, so people want to lose weight in the new year, and yet most people are not successful at that. So what's going on?
Yeah, well, the problem is that people aren't integrating a new lifestyle, like a healthy lifestyle, and that really does need to be the focus. We don't want quick fixes. We all know the quick fix diets are temporary and they're not sustainable. So what people really need to do is they need to switch their focus and concentrate on a healthy lifestyle, one that consists of daily habits that are supporting you to be balanced physically, mentally, and emotionally.
So let's talk for a second about these quick fix diets, because there's hundreds of them out there.
Yeah.
And they may be a nice kickstart, but what happens? I mean, what's your opinion about these types of diets as a health practitioner?
Yeah, as a health practitioner, I've just heard so many people come in and be deflated. They get really excited. They see some rapid weight loss, which usually is, water retention.
Right.
Really.
Right.
And then what happens is that when they come off this quick fix diet, then, the weight comes back automatically. And it's because they haven't been educated on what they can really do on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
And what really needs to happen is people need to be looking at things such as their sugar intake. People have no idea the impact of just that one thing, what that's doing in their lives.
Yeah, well, I just found that out because I told you earlier when we were talking on the phone before the show that I just came off a 3-day cleanse, and it was only 3 days. Mm-hmm. But the first day was like horrific.
Yeah.
I had the headache from hell. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a big, I don't think I eat a lot of sugar, but sugar's everywhere.
Yes.
And it's hidden and it's disguised and it has all kinds of crazy names to it other than just sugar.
Right. It's true. Yeah.
So what should we be looking for when it comes to buying food? How do we find sugar? How do we spot it? How do we rid ourselves from white sugar?
Right. Okay. This is a great question. I'm so glad we're tackling this. And first of all, let's just go back a few steps. What you actually experience is called the healing crisis.
The healing crisis.
Yes. And it's a very, very normal reaction to anybody who starts to detox their diet of anything, whether it's caffeine, whether it's sugar, anything that might have a triggering effect on the system. And it usually happens it usually takes about 72 hours or that first 3 days to actually get over that hump. And, I actually do cleansing based on the Ayurvedic principle, which is an Indian principle from India, which says it's good to cleanse your system seasonally, so with the changing of the seasons, so every quarter. And even myself,
I don't know if I could do this every quarter.
It wouldn't be as bad once you stay consistent. But I did a cleanse, I think it was 3 or 4 months ago, and I had the same effect. Like that first day, I had this really crazy headache, and like you, I have a pretty clean diet. So the important thing for people to realize is keep going. Don't give up. Get past that 72 hours. Get past that hump, and it's going to get much, much easier. The things for people to look for with sugar, and I encourage everybody to go even today and just clean your pantry out of especially the white table sugar. It has no nutritional value for you. It's been stripped of any nutritional value. Replace that with some natural sugars such as coconut sugar, which is just almost, it tastes almost like a palm brown sugar, or stevia or xylitol. All of these are going to be natural sugars that will not spike your insulin levels. They're going to be much, much better for you. Especially the stevia will not spike your insulin levels.
At normal xylitol, right?
Normal xylitol, that's right.
In fact, I've read it even helps keep your glucose sort of in check.
Yes, there is some information out there on that. There's some studies about that as well, which is great, which, like many other foods or spices that we can use in our everyday life, it does have medicinal purposes. It's getting educated on what certain things can actually do for you and what your specific needs are and how you can remedy that naturally.
Okay. But I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about different types of dieting. It's either cut carbs completely, cut fat completely, no protein, only eat this way. I just think it's really confusing for people. And don't we need amounts of all of those things in our diet?
Absolutely. And I have to agree, it is really, really hard for the general public to keep up with all the different philosophies and the theories that are out there in regards to health, especially when people work full time, they have kids, they have a marriage to stay involved in, they have a home to take care of. How do you stay on top of it?
Right.
The best thing to do is find a solid resource that you can trust.
Like Carrie Tepedino.
Like Carrie Tepedino, that will bring you the information. Like, your holistic practitioners, and I veer more towards holistic health, obviously. But, that's what we do. That's what we're passionate about. We're going to sift through all that information because we're geeks like that. We like to do that.
Right.
So, rely on us to bring you the information and streamline that process for you so that you don't get overwhelmed and become stagnant.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And it's it's such a funny thing because I think the mind and body are really linked together. But I think it's one of the reasons that we fail at weight loss because our mind is used to a certain thing, our body's used to a certain thing, and then we get this disconnect going on, right?
Yes, and that, as a holistic practitioner, my philosophy is the very intimate woven together of the body, the mind, and the soul. And it's true, the mind and the body are heavily linked. And just like, it's been brought to the West, Deepak Chopra, brought it to the West and has made it this normal way of thought is the mind-body medicine. And the power of positive thinking, what you think you become. So it's very, very important to learn, to train yourself to stay optimistic, to stay very positive, because what it does, if you're not staying positive, what it does is it actually creates stress. And what that does in your brain is it releases an excess of cortisol. What that can do, that can lead to even weight gain. When there's an excess of cortisol, what happens is your brain is telling your body to store anything as fat. All that glucose will be stored as fat. So it's right. Like a domino effect.
Carrie, let's talk about this. Is getting big. So let's talk about this right after the break. You're listening to the Cindy Laverty Show. I'll be right back with Carrie Tepedino. Stay tuned.